What's up, everybody? It's been a minute, and I've been pretty busy, combined with a lot of laziness. I mean, that's the power of procrastination for you. But anyways, I want to talk about a recent reputation attack on a prominent figure. Now, I'm pretty sure most people are familiar with the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, it's the most popular podcast currently. If it isn't number one, it's definitely close. But recently, you probably heard that Joe Rogan has caught himself in some controversy. AKA, apparently he's a racist for saying the hard ER.
It's like this boy that he's a nigger, but starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And there are niggers. Start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger or nigger. Say nigger and he couldn't.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. That video looks pretty bad. But it's obvious what really happened here. Someone went out of their way to dig up some dirt on him because they couldn't compete with him. This is exactly why context matters. If you watch the episodes, he was using them in reference or quoting someone else. The backstory changes the entire narrative, and as you can see, it was completely left out. They made Joe out to be this horrible racist person when he had plenty of black people on his podcast, and it was nothing short of good vibes. I mean, think about it. If Joe was actually racist, do you think he'd be as big as he is? Like, if he was truly racist, he would have been snuffed out and shunned from society a long time ago. And what really pisses me off is a lot of celebrities hopped on this racist Joe bandwagon, including one of my favorite celebrities, The Rock, who was at first defending Joe, but then all it took was some angry tweet, which was enough for him to flip sides. Now, I don't know who this Don Winslow guy is, but I've heard from other YouTubers that this guy is actually a writer, and he's apparently used the hard ER in dozens of his writings. And I love at the very bottom, he actually asked, have you actually listened to this man's many racist statements about black people? Well, apparently, The Rock has clearly not done his research, because if he actually listened to even one of Joe's podcasts, he can actually tell this man is not racist, like he's far from it. Now, as you can clearly see, I listen to Joe's podcast all the time, so you may think I'm being a bit biased. But if you pay attention just a little bit, you can see this was an obvious smear campaign. Because it just so happened that this all occurred after he was being accused of COVID misinformation, where hundreds of health experts, scientists, doctors, healthcare workers, you name it, all came out against him. And when literally no one cared, they had to come up with something else. So I just find it awfully convenient that it just happens to be this horrible racist suddenly, when literally no one even hinted any of this the past 10 years. Hell, not even the past couple of days. This case is a prime example of why cancel culture is cancer. If you want to dig up dirt on anyone, you will find dirt. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has dirt. And depending on how it's spun, it can make anyone to the scum of the earth almost overnight. And it's so easy to do because people don't do their research and apparently don't care about context. So people that don't understand what's going on can easily fall for smear campaigns like this. Like, for example, I remember this middle-aged white guy at work saying to my friend, who then came and told me, I think black people are a plague on society and they should be back in chains where they belong. I think black people are a plague on society and they should be back in chains where they belong.
I think black people are a plague on society and they should be back in chains where they belong.
Boom, there you go. Watch me get canceled. And you may think that only celebrities get canceled, but that's far from the truth. Anyone can get canceled, even for the smallest things. And the ramifications are devastating. You can lose your job. You can be shunned from society. You can lose endorsements, banned from getting loans or any kind of aid. And the list goes on. And I mean, yeah, some people do deserve to get canceled. But in my opinion, cancel culture was never about catching the right people. It was about making sure everybody fell in line with a popular narrative. And if anyone deviated, they will, as you know, be canceled. But back to Joe Rogan, because he made a fatal mistake. Now, what was that fatal mistake, you're probably wondering? It was the fact that he apologized.
Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video, but hopefully at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies.
The golden rule when dealing with the woke mob is that you must never apologize. Like that, it's a biblical 10 commandments type serious rule. Never apologize, because for one, the mob doesn't care. 2, they already hate you. 3, it's not about right or wrong. The mob is going to grind you into the dirt. They are not there to play nice or play fair for that matter. And lastly, when you apologize, you're inadvertently admitting to some form of guilt. And that's all it takes. Once the sharks see blood in the water, they're going to pounce. It's feeding time. Even if you did nothing wrong, just the apology alone's open up the possibility that you did do something wrong. Because people don't apologize if they didn't do anything, right? So if someone apologizes, it means they're submitting to the narrative. And that's the worst thing you can do. That's exactly what the mob wants. But you know what? That's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan is too big to fall. And this accusation is going to go nowhere. It just shows that not everyone is a sheep and the mainstream media is losing its audience. And it's going to backfire. Let's just hope.